Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world, and welcome back to another Liverpool news episode for you guys tonight. Yes, as you can see by the thumbnail and the title, we are going to be talking mainly about transfers in tonight's episode. Of course, the Reds do play tomorrow against AC Milan. Of course, we will see a few familiar faces from that Milan side. But, again, we're going to be talking majorly tonight about transfers and speculation again, because realistically, that's the only thing we're going to be talking about over the next month or so, unless it is football. And of course, football is coming back slowly, but, not, yet to the full, what we're used to then around this time. Anyway, let me quickly get up the chat. Anyway, there we go. Make sure I haven't missed anything. There we go. Anyway, but of course, in tonight's episode, anyway, we are going to be talking about Borussia Dortmund, Moukoko as well, and of course, news potentially that Liverpool have joined the race to sign him on a free transfer in the summer. We're also, of course, going to be speaking about Cody Gakpo and Liverpool potentially being in the race alongside Manchester United to get him over the line potentially in January, but more so looking at the summer as well. We're also going to be talking about Sofyan Amrabat yet again. Of course, there's been some big news over here as well. But again, it's absolutely crazy at the minute in terms of the news with Amrabat as well, and of course, what a video it would be if we're not going to be speaking about Jude Bellingham and Liverpool Football Club yet again as well. There is still more news coming out over Jude Bellingham's potential deal towards Liverpool Football Club anyway. But before we do get into any of the news, let's get into your chats. Anyway, guys, well, if you're new around here as well, viewing us for the first time, then please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button as well. Very much appreciated. I think we are on 806 right now, so if we can please hit that subscribe button, would be very much appreciated as always. Anyway, trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the season. Anyway, but hi Brian as well, says hi Connor as well. Hello Brian, hopefully you're on a fantastic day, my friend. It's bloody freezing here, 2 hoodies on as well. Yeah, it's absolutely Baltic right now as well. Of course, it's it's ridiculous how cold it is, but then it's going to get, especially where I live, it's going to get really warm in the next 2 days, which again is weird, and defo weird as well in that regard. Anyway, but before we do get into any other type of Liverpool news as well, of course, there's been no, of course, Liverpool football, of course, because it's been on for the World Cup. Of course, we now know the World Cup final will be between, of course, Kylian Mbappe's French side and, of course, Lionel Messi's Argentina. Of course, I should really say Ibu Konaté's French side as well, because, of course, Ibu is the best defender from France, and I don't even think that's a debate after that semi-final against Morocco as well. Anyway, but guys, I want to know your thoughts in the chat down below. If there is anyone watching right now, who do you think will win the World Cup? It's going to be interesting. I personally think it will go to penalties. I'm not going to say who I think is going to win because I'm still undecided who's going to win, but I do think it will go to penalties as well. So I will, leave it on that as well anyway. But I do think it will be a very, very good World Cup final. And if I'm being honest as well, apart from Messi, I don't want Argentina winning it. For the rest of the squad, Messi, I want Messi to win it because it would be finally nice for Messi to win the World Cup. But again, apart from that, I don't want Argentina winning. I'm afraid. Anyway, but sorry if there's any Argentinian Reds in you as well. But again, I do think that I would like Messi to win it for nostalgia reasons and that. But again, let me know, guys, your thoughts. But I do think it will go to penalties, and I do think we will have a very, very good game as well. It will be a very, very good game, I should say. Anyway, but Brian says, I refuse to believe the Amrabat stuff made it to no, again, Brian, it's all the gossip and the rumors. That's the problem at the minute. And there's nothing. Again, if football was on at the minute, I don't know whether or not these conversations would be being spoken about. But we will speak, of course, of the news that's been breaking anyway. But let's jump straight into it then. for tonight. We will start with, of course, Borussia Dortmund's Moukoko, as well. As you guys have seen. Of course, he's been, the standout for Dortmund up front. Of course, becoming, the youngest ever German player to go to a World Cup finals, or the World Cup itself. Anyway, but according to this, anyway, of course, Liverpool interested in 6 goal and 6 assists Dortmund youngster on a free transfer. Liverpool have been credited with an interest in Dortmund striker Youssoufa Moukoko by reliable sources, with the 18-year-old's contract set to expire this summer as well. I quickly scroll down as well. Moukoko has been regarded as one of the most exciting young players in Europe, having come through the Dortmund academy while playing 4 or 5 years above his age group as well. Let me quickly go scroll down on the article as well. The Cameroon-born German striker became the Bundesliga's youngest ever player when he made his debut a day after his 16th birthday in 2020, just over a fortnight after he broke the Champions League record as well. Having only turned 18 in November, Moukoko is now a regular starter for Borussia Dortmund, as so far this season has scored 6 goals and laid on 6 assists in 22 appearances so far. Of course, it goes on to say that he's become the youngest ever player for Germany as well. But this I thought was very interesting. Let me quickly highlight this as well in particular as well. But Dortmund are unsurprisingly eager to tie their number 18 down to a new long-term contract, with their previous offer of almost £85,000 per week, shy of Moukoko's demands of around £115,000 per week as well. That could obviously be a red flag when it comes to any deals for the youngsters through clearly progressed talent who could be with that outlay in time as well. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on Moukoko. For me, in my personal opinion, again, I haven't seen too much of him. I haven't seen, what I've watched of Borussia Dortmund over the last, year or so, or even, this season in particular. Of course, he has been pretty good, in terms of, standing out. Of course, we've obviously been watching it for Jude Bellingham, or I have anyway, I've been watching it for Jude Bellingham, but when you look at, in particular talent as well, he has stood out on a few occasions, and of course making that German side as well, which of course, they can get through to the knockout stages of the World Cup, but again, being called up, so young, and, with the lack of German strikers, so far, in that German setup, if he can just progress a little bit more, he's probably going to be Germany's #1 striker, maybe even at the Euros, potentially, on where he goes next. Now, according to that article as well, it does seem that it does, a lot of European teams want him. So Manchester United obviously linked, Chelsea linked, Liverpool now added to that as well. Also, I think Dortmund, they very much are trying to get him to sign a new deal. As well, they don't want him to leave on a free transfer, which again, that is expected, obviously. And like we said, he wants around £115,000 per week. At the minute, Dortmund have offered him 86 grand a week, so they're not too far away. But again, it's that thing of, will he get the opportunity? If he went to a Liverpool, if he went to, a Chelsea or someone like that, I can, pretty much guarantee for Liverpool, obviously he won't be getting, regular minutes. Does he get ahead of, a Jota, a Darwin, for example? The easy answer is no at that stage as well. But again, if Liverpool are looking around him as well, it got, then the next, shining talent that's come through the Bundesliga, you'd expect that there is going to be, of course, Liverpool's links and rumours put to there as well. But I do think as well, though, chat, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I do think that it is the case of Liverpool's name just being thrown in there. Now, I know that United and Chelsea have been linked for a very, very long time, but in my personal opinion, I can probably see him signing a new deal at Borussia Dortmund. Again, I think the major thing for him, and I read the article earlier on and going a bit through it, he wants the same, level of football that he's playing now in terms of, the game time and so on. And of course, he's played, as I said there, 22 appearances for Borussia Dortmund this season. Could he get that at Chelsea, a Man United, a Liverpool? The easy answer to that is appearances, yes, but a significant, figure in that, probably no. With that, so again, I do think it is a little bit of a, not a misleading, not a misleading statement that, but I do think that he will just sign a new deal at Dortmund. And when you think about it as well, he'll still get that game time, and also for Borussia Dortmund as well. If he does go on to be a superstar, like for example, like if they got another Haaland, then in that type of situation where he was banging in goals, week in week out, again, that's a price tag yet again. For Borussia Dortmund and what they could do there as well, because of course they've got him, they've got Adeyemi as well. I thought that Liverpool should have gone after Adeyemi back 2-3 years ago when he before he joined Borussia Dortmund, and so on as well. So again, Dortmund with young talent, of course, they do a phenomenal job in scouting talent and that. And again, it's that thing of they get a new deal for him, again, retains its value, probably increases his value as well, that they did want to sell in maybe a season's time or 2 seasons time, and so on as well. But for me personally, I do think he will sign a new deal at Borussia Dortmund anyway, because again, I don't think it's money, the sense of it anyway. I do think with Makoku, I do think it is game time in that regard anyway. But I saw something about him wanting first team football before anything else. Could we guarantee that? He's very good, obviously, but does he start? That's the thing, Bri, isn't it? And as you go on to say, but I agree, new deal at Dortmund most likely, and yeah, I do think it is the most likeliest thing. Don't get me wrong, with Chelsea at the minute, could he possibly go to Chelsea and get a start? Potentially, in terms of their strikers, Chelsea don't have a striker at the moment, of course, because of course they've got rid of Lukaku. Werner went in the summer. Obviously, Kai Havertz, Brozier, I think, obviously got that horrible knee injury against Aston Villa in a pre-season game, which if you guys watched that, it was absolutely horrendous. The scream from Brozier as well, but again, if he was to go to a Liverpool, if he was to go to a Manchester United, could he start week in, week out? The easy answer for me is no in that regard. So I do think he would stay at Borussia Dortmund. And again, keep his value, keep everything, because again, if he performs, if he does well, he's only 16 years old. Or in that regard, could he potentially do it as well? So again, it's that case, isn't it, where potentially that could happen as well anyway. But for me, guys, and in my personal opinion, again, I think he'll stay at Borussia Dortmund and go on to have that type of career there anyway as well. But Brian says they brought some kid from Cameroon today, Chelsea as well. Yeah, I did see that. I think Fabrizio Romano was going on about it, and apparently he's meant to be a really, really good player. Again, I haven't seen anything of him. Supposedly the big teams again were interested, and Chelsea have gone and bought him as well. So I don't know in particular, of course, but obviously for Chelsea, it's probably a steal if he does become good as well. So again, we will have to see on that, or well, particularly on that regard anyway, to be fair as well. But again, we're going to talk then about Cody Gakpo then, and we're going to move on to Cody Gakpo. And it's a very, very interesting conversation we're going to have now with Cody Gakpo. Now, according to Damasio, of course, he's been speaking about transfers today, I believe, on a column. I believe he was speaking about mainly, some Liverpool stuff. All the major stories today is from him in particular. But he said, so I think it's going to be a battle between Manchester United and Liverpool for Cody Gakpo, maybe already in January, but I don't really think so. I expect that we will have to deal with a different market in January, which is very, very interesting from Damasio as well. Now, we know before the World Cup in particular, PSV very much wanted 35 million euros to, potentially, see him leave the club in January. That now has doubled. I think even Damasio was also speaking about it, the fact that PSV now want double after he's had such a good World Cup with Holland as well. They want around 65 million euros, which again, is it something that Liverpool need right now? I know obviously with the left-hand side with Jota and obviously Luis Diaz being, both being out, of course, until at least March, in that regard. But, is it a position that Liverpool need, chat? For me, in my opinion, no. I think Liverpool need midfielders, if I'm being perfectly honest. Anyway, but excuse me, if you were to ask me, who would I pick more, a midfielder or Cody Gakpo? For me personally, I would go with a midfielder. Like, don't get me wrong, a player of the quality of Cody Gakpo, I'd love at Liverpool. He can play, as a striker. He can play on the right. He can play on the left. He gives you versatility, and he gives you, a very good, his style of play is very, very good for, if you want to, play like that. And, we've seen it with Holland, how he's adapted. 1 minute Holland were playing, 4-4-2, and then they're playing three at the back, and so on. And Gakpo was changing from the left to the centre, and so on. But is it something really what Liverpool need right now? I would go no, personally. For right here, for probably from now until the end of February, March time, the Liverpool need a forward to help out. Sure, absolutely, and it's a problem where we normally wouldn't have, because you normally stick a Divock Origi there or a Taki Minamino there, but we don't have those players anymore to do that realistically. And I think that's the big problem, where again we don't have those types of players that can go on to do that. And I just hope as well that Liverpool aren't just, and by the looks of things, Liverpool's name is there, and Liverpool have apparently looked at him and seen him as a target potentially as well. But we all know that Ten Hag has been after Cody Gakpo for a better part of a year, probably a bit more, I would say, in terms of both Manchester United and Ajax, because he wanted him at Ajax last season, couldn't get him because PSV wanted, I think, around £100 million for him at one stage, as well. Of course, that wasn't going to happen, of course, but it's that thing where Ten Hag has, and he has said it for some time, that he wants Cody Gakpo at Manchester United. He wanted him back in the summer. Obviously, when they spent 100 million on Anthony, they couldn't get that, fees, or couldn't get that round. I think it was either going to be Anthony, which was the first choice, or Cody Gakpo in that regard. So, and let me know your thoughts as well, guys, in the chat as well. For me, I think it's a very interesting one. For 35 million pounds, what was originally suggested before the World Cup, absolutely. I think Liverpool should snap at that price. But the supposed price now of 65 million euros, that for me is a no-go. In terms of, again, what in Liverpool's main 11, would Gakpo get in the main 11? Probably not, I would say. Does he get ahead of Jota and Diaz on the left? No. Does he get ahead of Jota or Darwin Núñez? No. And on the right-hand side, does he get ahead of Mo Salah? No. I think we need someone to go on that right-hand side, if I'm being perfectly honest, or someone that can play a versatile amount of positions, but also can play on that right-hand side. Someone like a Kudos, for example, that could potentially be cheap as well. Anyway, but let me know your guys' thoughts on that as well, on Cody Gakpo as well, because I think it is a very interesting one and a very interesting topic as well. Whether or not people would like or think Cody Gakpo could potentially become a Liverpool player anyway. But if I was to say right now and put my money on it, where do I think Cody Gakpo goes? Manchester United. I think he goes Man United all day long, because I think obviously Ten Hag has wanted him for so long as well. Anyway, but Fofana from Model, no idea either as well. Says Brian, yeah, I did see that. As well. Hello, everyone. Doesn't surprise me that though as well. Says Mark. Mark, great to see you in here as always, my friend as well. But a hi, Mark, as well. Now more positions more urgent as well. Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely 100% for me. Mark and chat as well. I think midfield is the obvious one that needs reinforcing, absolutely, as well. But again, I think people will have different opinions as well. But Mark saying, how are you, Brian and Connor as well? I'm doing fantastic, thank you. Mark as well. I might be a little bit ill at the minute as well, so apologies if I do sound a bit ropey at the minute as well. But Talia Old Bean as well says Gary. Carvalho, Nunes, Bobby, and Mo. That's pretty worrying. Obviously, midfield is priority, but we need something up front too. Yeah, absolutely agree with you, Bry. I think, but that's the thing. We're not going to have Jota or, we're not going to have Jota or Nunes, not Jota and Nunes, sorry, Jota and Luis Diaz until March time. And can Liverpool afford to be without an added option until they come back? The easy answer is no. We're basically going to be relying on a front three of Darwin Núñez, Bobby Firmino, and Mo Salah. Is that reliable enough? Probably not. And I know, and I think this is the thing where Jurgen wants to go back to the 4-3-3. And judging from what we've seen and what we've heard from the Dubai camp and so on, that's what he wants to do. He wants to go back to the 4-3-3, but he can't do that because he hasn't got the players to do it. So do we stick with that 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1 type thing? It's a very interesting debate. I think many people will want the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-4-2, whatever we want to call it, the messed up formation I like to call it, or the 4-3-3. I think it's a different one, isn't it? But it's something, isn't it? Where I do think that particularly there's going to be certain elements of where Klopp might, and there might be an opportunity in the window. And again, that's the thing that plenty of people like to throw out, isn't it? Is if there's an opportunity, Liverpool will go out and get it. And I think that's the thing again, where potentially Kudos, for example, from Ajax might be available for 20 million quid or 25 million quid. Well, Liverpool, would that be a signing that Liverpool would do in a summer transfer window? Absolutely. And I think you might actually see that as well, where we put it up there as Damasio saying, you can expect a different type of transfer window where it is a little bit like a summer window in many regards, because normally you'd have a World Cup and then a summer window. Now you're having a World Cup and a winter window. So it opens up the market a little bit more, doesn't it? I think anyway. But too many people we are linked to as well. Yeah, it's chaotic, isn't it, at the minute? If I brought you guys all of the links and rumors at the minute, we'd have about 20, 30 players being spoken about on the channel anyway. But we are keeping it, what I think anyway, and I always say this to you guys as well, anything that I find crap, I won't report on, or I won't bring it on the channel. Some things I might talk about, and some things I might mention here and there that might be, absolute crap. And some of the things I might say on here might be full of crap, but I'm not going to report, crap stuff, if you get what I mean. I've said crap a lot in that sentence there, but you guys know what I mean, or should know what I mean anyway, in that regard anyway. But Mark saying, Amrabat as a defensive mid, not a priority, I feel as well. I think we need a 6 and an 8, don't we? Or someone that can play the two. Which, can Amrabat play an 8? Maybe. I don't think it's out the question. Is it the fact of, is it something that's a strong possibility? No, because I think 6 is his role. But again, I think he'll be good. We'll talk about Amrabat in a minute anyway, but I do think there will be something there anyway. But Elliot can play on the left of a 3 as well. Yeah, no, he can. He can also play on the right. As well, but as well as Mark. I will get more into your comments, guys, as well. But let's talk then about, because a few of you are mentioning in the chat, and also mentioning midfielders in the chat as well. So I want to know your guys' thoughts as well. But yeah, Sofyan Amrabat. We are going to be talking about Sofyan Amrabat as well. Of course, I was going to say just finished a World Cup with Morocco. Of course, they still got their third place match against Croatia in on Saturday as well. So again, things are not done and dusted for Morocco at this World Cup anyway. But Damasio, speaking again on that column that I did mention as well, saying that it would be a dream for Sofyan Amrabat to play for Liverpool, and that the players' agency Stella, who I will say is Ibu Konate's agency as well. So again, a little bit of links there towards Liverpool. Is going to make an attempt to bring the Florentina midfielder to Anfield, with talks having already taken place, which we already knew about. Of course, because we already knew that talks had already begun before the World Cup, and supposedly we're very, very positive. But of course, there will be second talks after the World Cup, which, again, maybe there might be something there where Klopp might just need, that little bit more talking to the player or the management or so on. And then, of course, then something might happen. Now, we've already reported over the last couple of videos that the price tag is supposedly 30 million euros, with add-ons as well. So again, not that bad in terms of pricing. But is it something what Liverpool need now? It's a midfielder. It's a body in the door. Does Klopp feel like he'd walk into Liverpool's midfield? You don't know, do you? But there was a suggestion earlier on, because of course it's not just Liverpool that he's being linked to; it's also Spurs at the present moment in time, as well. But there was a rumor that Spurs were very much going to be getting the deal done and dusted over the next couple of days and weeks. But that has now been rejected as well. Demasia, as Anfield Talk again. Guys, if you're not following them, please go and do so, because again, they are very, very up to date with everything in terms of what gets reported or anything as well. But Damasio said that, has not said anyway, that Spurs are escalating their attempts to sign Sofyan Amrabat, and has not mentioned a price tag of £50 million. He does go on to say, though, that Damasio has said that his agency is going to make a big effort to move the player to Liverpool, which of course is great news for us, of course, because again, it's a player coming in the door. But it's that sense of, when those talks do happen, and when when everyone is sat down, and when everyone is, again, when the agency speaks with Klopp and potentially speaks with someone else around the club as well, will then Liverpool go and sign a deal then, and so on? For me, I think it is a little bit, and again, I mentioned it when we did the podcast with Jack, Dave, and Spider as well. I do think, in particular, Liverpool do have to be cautious where it does come to Amrabat. He's had a phenomenal World Cup with Morocco, but again, you do have to be careful when it comes to the World Cup, because someone can look absolutely amazing, phenomenal, join your club, and then they're utter crap. Now, for Florentina, and I looked at his numbers as well, defensively, he's making Fabinho numbers in terms this season in particular, where he is making Fabinho level numbers, in terms of, he's making, this, I think, the same or just above interceptions per 90, tackles per 90, and so on. But going forward, in terms of progressive passes and progressive carries, and just general play going forward, at the minute, Amrabat is miles ahead of Fabinho in that regard, which maybe might suggest that Liverpool might stick to a 4-2-3-1 this season. Maybe it might be a Fabinho and Amrabat situation. Maybe Klopp's just making, DM cover and so on. It's that thing of, what does Jurgen want from Amrabat? Does he think Amrabat will come in and walk straight in that midfield? You don't know, and you don't know what is Klopp thinking about, and so on. Because again, and we'll speak about Jude Bellingham and Enzo Fernandez, and I've seen you guys as well, in here as well, mention Enzo Fernandez and so on. As far as we know, and I'll speak about that separately in a minute as well, but as far as we know, in January, that none of those deals will happen, unless there is, money that's somewhere that we don't know about. Those deals won't happen. in January, unfortunately, they will be summer moves, quite clearly. And Liverpool need players now. And that's where you look around the 30, 40, 50 million pound mark where you could potentially go with it. And I do think it is something where, Amrabat could take a lot of boxes off for Liverpool in particular. Because again, could he potentially play as an eight? A right-hand side destroyer with Fabinho behind, or even something like that. You don't know, do you, chat? As well. So I want to know your guys' thoughts in particular as well on Amrabat, and we'll also, of course, speak about, of course, Jude Bellingham and Enzo Fernandez in a brief moment anyway. But let me quickly get back to your comments anyway. Mark says need a bench player forward as well. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Go back. Gary says Maddison would be perfect for Liverpool corner. I don't think so. Unfortunately, Gary, I don't think. If Liverpool stayed 4-2-3-1 and you had that 10 role, yeah, absolutely, I would agree with you. If Liverpool go back to 4-3-3, like I think we will, then no, I don't think James Maddison is good for Liverpool. I think he needs to be in a team that has an attacking midfielder, like an out and out number 10. Then anyway, that's what I would say anyway. To be fair, anyway, but that's again what I think anyway. But again, I don't know anything. But Klopp might look at it and go, yeah, sure, absolutely, as well anyway. But no, not for me personally, Gary. Anyway, but did you see Damasio? He said, "Do you dream with Liverpool? Damasio is reliable." Ali, good to see you in here as well, my friend. Yeah, we did see that, and we will talk about that in a brief moment as well about Jude Bellingham. Hello, Ali, as well as Mark. If the right player is available and we're waiting until the summer to address midfield, why not get someone in January? I just think money, Bry. I think if you look at it right now, let's say Liverpool's top three midfield targets: Jude Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo. For that, and I've seen you guys mention Caicedo as well. I think Caicedo, you're looking more around 50, 60 million. Maybe a bit more because it's January, but then I don't think that though. I think there is something there that hasn't been reported yet in terms of, because of course Liverpool keep their cards very close to their chest. The first time you'll hear about something, about a transfer, for example, will be from a outside source. So I mean, like someone from Germany, someone from Spain, someone from somewhere else. It won't be, the Liverpool journos don't get anything now since the Virgil van Dijk situation happened. Liverpool journos don't get anything until it's literally confirmed by everyone, and then the Liverpool journos get told, and then Liverpool confirm it. And that's the thing where, and of course, Liverpool will give out, and Neil Jones speaks about this on Red Men as well. He does go on, and he does say it most times, that Liverpool, if like for Otavio, for example, from Porto, when that rumor was suggested and like it said that Liverpool had submitted a bid and it got accepted, and Otavio was just agreeing personal terms with Liverpool, and that Liverpool come out and went, that's absolutely rubbish. We don't want Otavio. Nothing's going to happen between us and Otavio, and Liverpool will give out stuff like that. Now, obviously, with the Jude Bellingham stuff and the Enzo Fernandez stuff and the Caicedo stuff, they haven't come out and said any of this because they are targets. They are people that Liverpool are interested in. But of course, Liverpool are keeping their cards close to their chest. Simple as. And again, like I said, you won't hear anything until a Germany source or Fabrizio Romano mentioned something and so forth. Well, this is why Fabio Carvalho, for example, in January, this is why Fabrizio Romano had the outside source on it. And he was the first person to break the news that Liverpool wanted Fabio Carvalho. And then all the Liverpool journalists were on it straight away and so on. And then it was like, oh, okay, we're going to do this and that. And that's what happens. So one day and one morning, it might just break like that. And again, like I say to you guys, like the most reliable Liverpool people to look out for, Paul Joyce, James Pearce, Neil Jones, they are the reliable guys then and so on as well. But Ali says Amrabat's dream is Liverpool. Liverpool isn't Amrabat's first choice. Liverpool's first choice for that position is Caicedo as well. I'm not going to lie. I think Caicedo's more of an 8 than a 6. I think if it's a choice between, like, for me right now, if you were to go which two players I'd like Liverpool to sign as, 8 covers, it would be, Caicedo. I would agree with that, Ali. And I'd go Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham's number one, obviously. Putting that, just right there. Jude Bellingham is number one. And then Caicedo would be number 2 because I haven't seen much of Enzo Fernandez apart from the World Cup. And if Liverpool do see Caicedo as a DM, then sign all bloody 3 of them. But again, money. That's the big thing as well. But Mark says I want Fernandez as well. A lot of people want Enzo Fernandez. I can see everyone in the chat right now going on about it as well. So guys, keep your comments in. I do very much appreciate each and every single one of you as well. BB as well. I think is new around here as well. So thank you for tuning in, my friend, as well. I think Enzo as well. Yeah, I think a lot of you guys want Enzo Fernandez at Liverpool. Ali says, my dream is Caicedo, Jude and Enzo. That would be phenomenal. Would be absolutely phenomenal. But again, that's going to cost you 250, maybe, probably a bit more. Because again, the problem is with Enzo Fernandez, of course, he has that release clause, but it does. Benfica, I think, are going to look at that top end of that release clause. They're not. I don't think in this right now. If Liverpool wanted to buy him right now, they'd have to buy the release clause. But in terms of in the summer, maybe they might look at 80, 70 million, something like that. Of course, Benfica at the minute, I think they're top of the Portuguese league as well. So again, it's not going to be cheap. Then that's the quite easy thing to say as well. But Amrabat, Jude, and Enzo as well, says BB as well. Klopp knows who he wants, absolutely. That was fake as well. I think that was towards the Spurs thing. I think Ali. Let me know. I prefer the 8. Yeah, I think Leicester, are being linked with him at the minute for 50 million. I don't know if that's true or anything like that in particular as well. Mark running out Anfield talk as well. Hey, says LJ as well. LJ, good seeing you, my friend. Mark the Anfield talk is that channel as well. No, that's the people that I normally quote for as well. On Twitter, they do have their own YouTube channel as well. But literally, for example, this is the Cody Gakpo. They're pretty reliable on Twitter. If you want any news clips or any reliable things when it comes to Liverpool, anyway, to be fair. But let me quickly get back to the chat. Anyway, and then we'll quickly talk about Jude Bellingham as well. Let me quickly scroll back up as well because the chat's gone all the way up. Yeah, Mark, as Connor recommends as well. Yeah, if I say something, then of course Mark and mods as well will put something in as well. So great mods, especially Mark as well. Mark's been on it as always, as well, and other mods as well in your Mark, and many others do a really, really good job as well. But we need Amrabat. We can't get too young if we are going for Jude and Enzo. Amrabat is the perfect age to complement them. 26 is a great age as well. Yeah, exactly. And you're going to get at least, 4 years out of him in terms of, peak level. In terms of, you look at Fabinho. Fabinho's turned 30 now, or 29, 30. And again, it's that thing of Fabinho isn't done. And that's the thing that we have to remember as well. Fabinho is not done at the top level. But I don't think Liverpool can take that risk of, oh yeah, Fabinho's going to be on it the second half of the season. I don't think we can, because look how it's cost us the first half of the season. Now, right now, people will debate who should start in that number 6 role? Should it be Fabinho or should it be Jordan Henderson? And I think people, many people have different answers for that. If we're getting Fabinho of this season, I'd probably go Jordan Henderson right now. If we got Fabinho that we all know and love, then Fabinho by miles, in that DM position. But it's that case of, what Fabinho are we getting? And hopefully it's a refreshed and, a raring to go Fabinho in the second half of the season as well. Maybe Klopp's thinking that as well, to be fair, as well, but who knows. But lend Zaha as well. I think loads of people on Twitter were going on about Wilfred Zaha, the fact we could get him for 10 million or something like that. There's no way you get Wilfred Zaha for 10 million. Because again, I think Palace will. Is he on a free in the summer? If anyone knows in the chat, I think Wilfred Zaha is on a free transfer next summer as well. But hope LJ says hope VVD comes with hunger and the old Van Dijk. Hope he gets a chance to score a pen against Villa and Emmy and give that mean look as well. Yeah, absolutely. LJ as well. I think look, there's no World Cup now, is there? I think you will see Virgil van Dijk at his best. I would say anyway. In particular, I do think you will see Van Dijk back to his best as well. But can always pre-deal for these players we want. Absolutely, yeah, exactly. I think Jude Bellingham. We will talk about Jude Bellingham in a minute. I think that deal is gonna get. Again, I don't want to speak too much on it, but I do think something is already done with Jude Bellingham. Again, I'm preparing myself for egg on my face, but still, Jude Bellingham for me is 90% a Liverpool player. I'm just going to say that. I've totally messed that up as well. But no one has rubbished any rumours yet as well. No, exactly, Ali, absolutely. People have. There has been I think, was it Bentancur last week was getting rumoured and Liverpool no, we're not interested in Bentancur, and that. So yeah, there has been a few rubbished out rumours so far. That has been a bit quiet as well, but yeah, there has been one or two so far over the last week or so has been taken out of proportion. Then I think that's the best word to use anyway in terms of that anyway. But let me quickly go onto Twitter because there's a notification. That's something. No, it's not. But Saicedo, Liverpool views Saicedo as a DM as well. It says Ali could very well do. Saicedo is just 21. We need an experienced but still young midfielder as well. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think midfield is the major work for the summer. I'm just going to say that. Whether that be 200, 300 million is going to be spent on it, that's another question. Because again, the owners, what's happening with that, you don't know. In particular, I think that for me, the number one thing for Liverpool is get Jude Bellingham. For me, you cannot, and I mean this, if the only problem is money, you cannot turn around and go, okay, we can't do it. You can't. You have to go all in for him. You can't be scouting a player and going, okay, we're going to wait 2 or 3 summers. We're going to wait because we picture Jude Bellingham as being the perfect midfielder for us. We can't, you can't then go, oh, but the price is a little bit, a bit iffy. We have to look at someone else. No, I'm sorry, no, you can't. Fair enough if he had a brilliant World Cup and you've only now started to look at him and of course the price tag is going up and up and up as it has done, and then you're looking at it. For me, you can't do that. In my opinion, you have to go all in for him. That would be my personal opinion anyway on it. But fair play to Amrabat's agent doing hard work in the media to capitalise on his profile after the World Cup, as well as Brian. Yeah, they're doing pretty good, in there. But again, he has the same agency as Ibu Kanate, so again, there's obviously good working relationships there in terms of Ibu as well as. But I heard Casado as well. We have money. We have saved a lot of money. Investment takeover is coming as well. Says Ali. Potentially, again, there's been nothing on that for a couple of weeks as well. Luke is in here as well, as Jay Spearing lad as well. Yeah, give him the bloody number 10 shirt as well. But Luke, good to see you in here, my friend, as well from the 1882 Reds podcast. Hi to Luke as well, says Mark. Barella or just 5 or 6 players from Juve maybe. But LJ, no. Absolutely not. Don't want any midfielders from, I know we already have one in Arthur Mello, but luckily with Arthur Mello, we can send him back. And yeah, no, I don't want anyone from Juventus at all. For me right now, there isn't a player apart from Federico Chiesa that I would want from Juventus. That's me being honest anyway. I wouldn't want anyone from Juve apart from Chiesa, for me personally anyway. But big up Mark in chat as well, says Luke. Luke, it's past your bedtime. Luke, it's past your bedtime. He's going to get annoyed from me for saying that as well. But Luke, it's past your bedtime. We need more cash revenue to buy all these players as well. I would agree 100%. As I said, it was only on 4K. 4K a week? It's got to be more than that, Alan, surely. I think, good to see you in here as well. I don't think I've mentioned you so far as well, but yeah, Alan mentioned, yeah, no, Saicedo as well. Good to see you in here, Al, as well, but Saicedo is only on 4K a week. Josh Williams of Blood Red said that. Is he really? 4K a week? Bloody hell. That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, maybe as well. Gomez and Jones could bring in some decent money, both on new contracts, though, as well. Them two ain't going anywhere. Them two ain't going bloody anywhere. That's for sure anyway. But better to sell them when tied into contract as well. Obviously, make more money on that as well. But Amrabat is the perfect age, perfect price if we want us to get him. I know World Cup tax, but if he's 30 million, that is cheaper than Saicedo. The problem is with Amrabat, he was 10 million quid before the World Cup, and now he's 30 million. That was euros as well. So again, that's what Florentina apparently don't want to sell as well, I should say. But if the money is there, I think they would accept it. So again, it works. It swings and roundabouts, really, doesn't it? As well. But Zaha is on a free transfer as well next season. Thank you, Luke, for that. Anyway, but we will quickly just mention the news. Of course, some people's already mentioned in the comments as well. Jude Bellingham as well. Damasio mentioning the fact that if you ask me, Liverpool is a dream destination for Bellingham, and the price tag is around 100 million euros to 130 million euros as well. Now, of course, as well, I mentioned earlier on that we're not going to mention any bullshit on the channel as well. Sorry for any PG watchers in here as well. But Marca today, if anyone knows Marca, they're absolute crap outlet in Spain. Of course, they are the mouthpiece for Real Madrid. When Madrid want anything said in the media, Marca are the first people to find out about it or whatever. And they turned around and said today that, Liverpool have snubbed the chance to get after Jude Bellingham. They're looking at cheaper alternatives. They're looking at, they're not looking at going after Jude Bellingham and, this, that, and the other. They've practically given up on him and looking for, new targets then for Jude Bellingham. What a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish. If you translate the article anyway, I think it was shared out by the Mirror or, practically quote retweeted it from Marker anyway. But if you actually go on and read the crap, it basically says Liverpool have completely forgotten about Jude Bellingham and that we're done with Jude Bellingham and his Real Madrid, is fully going to go and get him and so on. And that might be the case. It might be the fact that Madrid might get him eventually and so on. But the fact that Liverpool are out of the race for Jude Bellingham or in doubt and going after cheaper alternatives, I don't believe. I do think that is a pile of absolute rubbish. And look, Liverpool might not get Jude Bellingham because of the price tag. Again, like I've said to you guys in the chat, and you guys will know as well, I've said it, Liverpool should go all in for Jude Bellingham, no matter the costs. But it's that fact again of if he is was it 100 million euros is about 83 million pounds, I think, and then I think 130 is around 113 million pounds as well. But if that is to be the case, pay it. You've got to go and pay it. And that, in my opinion, is what Liverpool need to go and do. Now, depending on, of course, other targets and so on, it doesn't matter. If you've been targeting one player for the last 3 or 4 years, like I've mentioned, you have to go and get him. You can't be going, no, we give up. We're going to go and get, I don't know, we're going to go and get, for example, Enzo Fernandez, and he's going to be the marquee guy. Don't get me wrong, Enzo Fernandez looks to be a very, very good player. And of course, Neil Jones was mentioning as well that Liverpool are interested in him, and he does tick off a lot of the boxes. And of course, like we mentioned 3 or 4 videos ago about the agreement being in place, that's not happened at all. He's not agreed to join Liverpool on personal terms, or between Benfica and Liverpool as well. So, but again, I think Jude Bellingham is the number one target for Liverpool. I think the day he can't join Liverpool is when officially he's in a Real Madrid shirt, and Klopp has just completely given up then, and so on. That's probably an obvious answer, but you know what I mean, guys, as well. Anyway, but let me quickly scroll back up anyway, and let me know your thoughts anyway on Jude Bellingham and that news as well. Anyway, that DeMarco thinks that is that his name, DeMarco? If I completely butchered that name, I don't think I have. No, Damasio, not DeMarco. Sorry, Damasio, saying that he thinks Liverpool is the dream destination for Bellingham, and of course mentioned the price tag of 100 million euros and 130 million euros as well. Anyway, let me quickly go back up. There we go. Are you sure it's millions? I thought it was billions as well, says Mark. At market 50 million for Nat Phillips. Yep. We could have done probably after the, obviously I am joking, but that, season that we all like to forget, what was it, 2 seasons ago? We could have got 30 million, something like that. But again, just nobody come in for him. It's that fact that we can't sell him. That's the stupid thing, where he's a Premier League level centre half, but some reason we can't get rid of him because the teams that want him are trying to get low cheap offers. Like Bournemouth, for example, I think they offered 10 million plus 6 million in add-ons, or I think it was 8 million and 6 million in add-ons, or something like that. And it was, of course, we're not going to sell to that, are we? Realistically, never, are we? We're never going to do that, to be fair. But are you sure it's millions or billions as well? Lol, says Mark. Andrew's in as well, saying Bellingham will happen, and apparently, according to radio station in Italy, that they'll see it moving, and Spurs interested in Amrabat soon as well. I think Spurs will definitely try and do something, because Spurs apparently have been interested in him for some time. Same as Liverpool, though. If you listen to to every single rumor on the internet, it is the case that Liverpool is supposedly meant to be looking at Amrabat back in the summer, but didn't go for him, and this, that, and the other. So again, is it something? And again, chat, let me know your thoughts. Is it a position that Liverpool needs? Is it a midfielder? Yes. Does Klopp view it as something? You don't know. And that, but always though, it would have happened to be in this window anyway as well. Absolutely. Let's quickly scroll down. Mark says we have a free Naby's giveaway. Yeah, if anyone wants Naby Keita, there you go. Yeah, it's not. I seen something yesterday about people going, "Oh, well, Naby's getting a new deal, isn't he? Because he's fit." Did you guys nearly see him getting injured on that camel? Like, that was funny. It was absolutely hilarious. We have Naby on a free anyway, give him away. Brian says, I think if they think Bellingham is worth 100 million, then he's worth 130. What's 30 million these days for a player like that? If it was 200, then okay. But 100 to 130, no real difference as well. And that's the thing, realistically. And the problem is as well, Liverpool will offer Jude Bellingham a 6-year deal. That's no debate. And within that 6 years, if Jude Bellingham goes, okay, I want a new challenge. Say if Klopp leaves after 5 years or 4 years or whatever, um, and then he goes, okay, I want a new challenge. I maybe want to go to Spain or something like that. Liverpool will ask, surely, above what we've paid for him already, and Madrid or Barcelona or someone like that will pay it. They will. And it is that sense of he is an investment. Is he a worthy investment? Absolutely. Um, and the fact that Klopp has wanted him for so long, I think that's it's a no-brainer in my opinion. If it's 100 million, 130 million, wages will not be a problem. We've known this, and again, it's that sense of the Bellingham family that are the head negotiators with the deal want him to join Liverpool, want him to go to Liverpool, and that's for me the big one. Anyway, but hey, I have tip shit as well. Hello, Anthony. For God's sake. Hello, Ant. Hopefully, on a fantastic day, my friend. Mark put in Anthony's link as well. Go and subscribe over to Ant as well. Good thanks, says Mark as well. This is what we have with. I can't pronounce his name. Sorry, I'm not gonna either. He was 50 million till before the World Cup. Now 45. Yeah, and I seen that you that Leicester supposedly bid 45 million for him. Of course, obviously, I don't think that's true. Let me know if that's true. Anyway, but again, it's that case of, all the World Cup stars, every single one of their prices have gone up. Look at, Gakpo that we spoke about earlier on in tonight's show. His asking price before the World Cup was around 35 million euros. Now it's around 65 million euros. So everything has doubled, and that's the horrible, factor of the World Cup. And normally, you have a summer transfer window where clubs are a bit more lenient in terms of, letting a player go. The problem is now, obviously, with the World Cup being in the winter, it's, nobody likes to deal with transfers in January. It's always like, oh, there might be one or two big moves and that's it. But again, I think the January window could go one or two ways. It's either going to be we see big deals happening, or you just see a bunch of like small deals and loans, and that's what I think will happen. But again, could be bugger it. We're just going to spend all the cash. All the teams might go. Anyway, but that's how it goes on a World Cup player as well. Yeah, absolutely. If Rice is going up for sale at 70 million, I would snap their hands off at that as well. I think he's Chelsea bound, if I'm being awfully honest, Mark. Yeah, as Brian said there, Mark, Chelsea for Rice seems too obvious. Yeah, I think he's going to Chelsea. I think what we are like with Jude Bellingham, I think Chelsea fans are like with Declan Rice. They really want Declan Rice at their club as well. Jack is in as well, saying we needed Ngog back. Bloody hell. Good old David Ngog, but good to see Jack in here as well. I know Nut can still hijack. What was happening by you, Mark? It says, an unpopular opinion, Fernandes will be better for you than Bellingham, says Anthony. I humbly disagree with that. Buggy you, Anthony. What the hell do you know? No. Enzo Fernandez, he's been brilliant at the World Cup. But again, it's that factor of the only way you're getting him out of the club at the minute with Benfica is paying that release clause, which is around 105, 108 million quid. Again, interest rates and that, was it currency change or whatever, or the rate, that it just depends which week it is. Anyway, but Jack says how is chat as well. Hello, Jack. We'll get all the comments as well, and then I will be heading off. Guys, we've been on for an hour, and again, I feel ill. Again, with Jack with the eyes emoji as well. I don't know why. It's probably because of the weather. as well. But yeah, Big Dom as well says, Bright, we need Tosena back and count. Oh, Jesus Christ. Kaut is after a new job. Yeah, he got sacked in these from his other one, which was unfortunate, to be fair, as well. But Bellingham definitely wants to join Liverpool, but it's not his final decision either, in my opinion. No, it's not. And that's the thing where at the minute, Liverpool in the race, give it 2 weeks' time, Man City and Real Madrid might be ahead, if you listen to the rumours and whispers. But for me, it's that case of, the family are the head people in terms of everything. It goes through Jude Bellingham. And the fact that they want Liverpool and his dad and his mum supposedly wants him to go back to Liverpool, and you just listen to how Jude Bellingham speaks about legacy, and you've had a couple of people today going back at Jude Bellingham's, old liked and retweeted posts and so on. He's talking about, legacy is better than money, and so on. And that's the thing where, was it that Bundesliga Christmas interview that he did, that he spoke about, he'd much rather be known for what he's done on the pitch than how much he's earned over his career, which, it sounds amazing. Whether or not that'll become a reality is another factor. I do have to say anyway. But Brian says Bellingham definitely wants to join Liverpool. I read that one out. Apologies. Chelsea need to replace Jorginho, Kante, and Kovacic in the next year as well. Yeah, it's a big mid. That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like last summer, it was transfers for strikers. Like every team or every big team was looking for a striker. Now this window coming up, and even in this window coming, in January, it does feel like that a lot of teams are looking for midfielders. And it goes like that. And probably, not the summer coming up, the next summer, probably people will look at defenders, and that is how it goes with teams. But we're looking for a new midfield. City will be looking for a new midfield, especially if the likes of Gundogan and Bernardo Silva leave at the end of the season and don't sign new deals. Obviously, we're looking Chelsea, Arsenal, even Man United, for example, as well. So again, every team are looking at the top talents, and yeah, it's all of this, isn't it? Realistically as well, but destination not decided. I mean, he will go to Madrid in 4 years, not stay at Liverpool for life, like some think as well. No, I don't. It's the thing in it. You might want to, but again, it's football, isn't it? Unless you're a Scouser, like for example Trent. Trent will never want to leave Liverpool, as long as he can help it anyway. I don't think in particular, was he with Jude Bellingham, I would agree with that in the sense of maybe, like I said, maybe in 4 or 5 years' time, he might go and right, I want to go to Madrid and see and try that, or he might want to stay at Liverpool. We don't know. But again, I do think his next destination will be Liverpool, if I'm being perfectly honest as well. Anyway, but Lucky Singh says, as a United fan and a Liverpool fans, we have to push to get the right ownership in as well. Obviously, United, at the minute, Glazer's out, obviously, as well. But good to see you in here as well. You're a rival fan in here as well. Of course, all are welcome as well. Might wind you up after, the Man United Liverpool games, but still, it's good to see you in here, my friend, as well. But FSG have took has had to look at sale by February. I think it'll be next summer, if I'm being perfectly honest. If Liverpool do go full sale anyway, and won't be a full sale through, I feel as well. I do think Liverpool are looking for, unless it is an offer of 4 billion or 4.5 billion, it does, as the time goes on, it does look like we are looking at investors more than anything. I would say anyway. But let's go back then and have a look at what we've spoken about in tonight's episode as well. We've spoken about, of course, Borussia Dortmund's. I've forgotten his name now. That's my bad. What's his bloody name? Of course, Borussia Dortmund's Mokoku. Sorry, I did forget his name then. Apologies for that. Yeah, Borussia Dortmund's Mokoku. Liverpool's apparently looking at potentially signing him next summer if his deal does expire in the summer. He will be a free agent, but like I said earlier on in the stream, I do think he will sign a new contract extension with Borussia Dortmund. We've also spoken about Cody Gakpo, and Liverpool and Manchester United supposedly are in a battle to sign Cody Gakpo. Obviously, Damasio mentioning the fact that maybe already in January, but he doesn't really think that anyway. But he does expect the market to be a bit different in January, but does think Liverpool and Manchester United are in a battle to sign Cody Gakpo. We've also spoken about Sofyan Amrabat in tonight's episode. Of course, Damasio again saying it would be a dream for Sofyan Amrabat to play for Liverpool, and the players' agency Stella is going to make an attempt to bring the Florentina midfielder to Anfield, with talks already having taken place. Of course, there was the rumours as well that Spurs were very much pushing for the deal, but as the Anfield talk goes on to say, Damasio has not said anywhere that Spurs are accelerating their attempts to sign Sofyan Amrabat, and not mentioned a price tag of 50 million euros, and then goes on to say that the agency are making big effort for him to go and try and get a deal towards Liverpool. And of course, we've spoken about Jude Bellingham, and Damasio again saying that he thinks that Liverpool is the dream destination for Jude Bellingham, and saying the price tag is around 100 to 130 million euros anyway. So guys, if you have liked tonight's stories, then please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've mentioned as well, about Moukoko, Cody Gakpo, Amrabat, and of course Jude Bellingham. We'll probably be live tomorrow with a post-match reaction, because of course we do have Liverpool AC Milan tomorrow. That is at 3:30 tomorrow UK time. Anyway, of course, it is on LFC TV Go or LFC TV. If you can get it, then congratulations. If you can't, like me, because for some reason the website never works as well, of course, and of course we do have to try and find other ways to get it done anyway. But again, it swings and roundabouts whether or not it will work. I don't think it'll work again, so we will have to try and get it as well. So the Reds are back in action tomorrow, so we will have a post-match reaction tomorrow, unless of course there is anything breaking in that regard anyway. But guys, hopefully you have enjoyed tonight's stream anyway. If you have, then please feel free to leave a like. Please hit that subscribe button as well. Let me double check, what are we on right now in terms of likes. Let me look, we're on 16 right now. If we can get to 20, if you're watching, doesn't cost anything. If we could please hit that like button as well. If we can get up to 20 again, that'd be fantastic again as well. And again, I do very much appreciate all of the support as well on the channel anyway. So big thank you to all of you guys in the comments as well. Let me quickly read out a few before we do head off. Lucky says, I know club wants investors. I'm back in a full sale. Yeah, I want a full sale. But again, just depending on what FSG want as well. It's the only way as well, says Brian. I want one, just not sure how we will get it as well. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, Mark? As well. And Marco says, thanks everyone, smash the likes and follow please as well. Yeah, please hit that subscribe button if you are new around here anyway. But guys, that's going to be it from me. If we're not live tomorrow straight after the match for the post-match reaction, we'll be live tomorrow at 9 o'clock as usual time for us, as always. If not, we'll tell you on the community tab. We'll also tell you on Twitter as well, if we're live or whatever's happening or whatever. Be on Twitter. So if you're not following us on Twitter, then go over and subscribe to us go and follow us on Twitter, not subscribe. That hasn't happened yet on Twitter as of yet anyway, to be fair. But guys, I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I will see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.